Hello and welcome to the We Recommend podcast, a movie podcast where every week we recommend a movie for you to watch and then come back here and listen to us discuss. I'm Jesse.
I'm Jason. All that hate's gonna burn you up, kid.
It keeps me warm because this week we recommend Red Dawn. Okay. First thing I want to ask. So is this a anti-war movie or a pro-war movie? Or does it not know what it's trying to do?
I don't know if it cares either way. I don't know if it's anti or pro. I think it's just
there.
They're just
there.
dealing with it.
There, cool premise.
Just like, it's kind of pro-war, like, grab your guns, kill the invaders.
Then it has all the anti-war stuff of, like, you see these kids run down. All this classic, like, anti-war.
War is ugly.
Usual stuff. Yeah, like the war is ugly type thing. Okay, so is this a movie filled with good actors that are not acting very well? Or is it a movie that's just not well directed? Which do you think it is?
I think it's probably a little bit of both.
A little bit of both? Man, because they are rough in this film. It's like, what? How are you guys struggling this much?
Yeah, I thought also that there wasn't a whole lot of character development.
There's like none in this. The only character development is Colonel Bella.
Yeah.
He's like the one oh crap, what's the guy's name? Was it Tanner? Yeah, it's Tanner and Colonel Bella. They have the most character development.
And old Bella's is really just like,
I have a wife.
I used to fight in the uprising.
And it's like, it's like, I want to kill random people because they're killing our soldiers. Then like next thing, never mind, I feel bad about this. Other guy comes up, we must do it more. I kind of tried it. It didn't really work. And then he just finally has a change of heart by the end. It's like, what are we doing? Why are we even doing this? Which I think by the end is supposed to be the message of this film, but then you get like the very ending of the movie where they're like getting their like, I don't know, like their cards, their classic like baseball card, like the music kicks in. It's like, and then I don't know. It's weird. It's because I love this movie as a kid. I was like, whoa, this is crazy. When I get older, I could do this. I could survive. But seeing all the paratroopers come down at the very beginning, it's
pretty scary.
It's awesome.
First school
it's
shooting.
Very school. Yeah, I know.
Filmed.
Boy, things that did not age well. Am I right? But yeah, like just seeing like everybody fall from the sky, and you're just in a regular school day.
They just come out and they're looking. What y'all doing up there?
It's like, oh, y'all must have landed in the wrong area. And it's like, dude, they're not speaking English. So was this your first time watching it or second?
This is the first time watching it all the way through. I think I had seen bits and pieces of it. Actually, the movie that I thought this was a totally different movie.
Oh, really? What do you think it was?
Something with Kevin Bacon where he puts on climbing shoes and like climbs over a ravine with a bunch of kids. I don't know.
Weird.
Yeah, super weird.
I do not remember that.
I have no idea what that movie is.
That's so funny.
I thought it was this one. Definitely not.
So the person that originally wrote this movie is someone that you'll like a lot because you like the Robin Hood Prince of Thieves movie.
What, Kevin Costner?
Yeah.
He wrote this?
Well, no, Kevin Reynolds is the writer, but he directed Robin Hood Prince of Thieves.
Hell yeah, that movie was awesome.
Yeah. This was the first time you watched it?
Yes,
I'm sorry.
it was.
And you liked it? Pretty.
It was fun watch. Turn your brain off kind of thing. I thought a lot of the vistas, like they did a really great job of making it look beautiful.
They really did.
Yeah.
It's like classic 80s where it's like, yeah, everything looks real and we're on location. Let's fucking go.
Yeah, it looked very pretty. Like,
yeah,
kind of gave you the sense of like this is what they're fighting for.
Yeah, and then whenever you see the like everything kind of getting destroyed and it's being taken over, like it's like it's Colorado. It's supposed to be beautiful, not this. Which I think they did a really good job with that film.
Yeah.
The other writer and director and the director of this is John Milius. He did movies like Well, he took over the screenplay for this and pretty much completely changed it. But he also did Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah.
He wrote and directed it. I was just like, he also wrote Apocalypse Now. So, I mean, the guy's been doing like Clear and Present Danger. I mean, the guy kind of does a lot. Holy crap.
That's sweet. Yeah, in Conan the Barbarian, Arnold Schwarzenegger had to actually stop working out because he was too big to hold a sword.
Bro, you're too... The sword, I can't grip it. It's too small in my hands.
I can't put my hands together.
Yeah.
Sitting there trying to play patty cake and just crying.
That's hilarious. Make a bigger sword.
Yeah.
Or ever, I don't know. That was terrible. But so this movie stars Patrick Swayze as Jed, C. Thomas Howell as Robert, Leah Thompson as Erica, Charlie Sheen as Matt, and Jennifer Grey as Tony.
Tony.
And you have Harry Dean Stanton as Mr. Eckert. Eckert. And that's pretty much most of the people that you'll know off the top of your head. But yeah, what a talented cast, you know?
Yeah, it's too bad they were used.
Too bad
poorly.
these are like everybody. Well, I mean, half the people, it's their first like film, really.
Yeah,
this was
so.
Charlie Sheen's first film. This is Patrick Swayze's second after The Outsiders, like his second major motion picture.
All right.
I'm pretty sure.
And it was made in 1984.
Yeah. Jennifer Grey wasn't super popular because 3 years later is whenever Dirty Dancing came out, where she's with Patrick Swayze again. And Leah Thompson, I don't know if this was her first or not. I can't remember off the top of my head. So whatever.
Probably.
Yeah. So let's get into some facts about the movie. So the film made the Guinness Book of Records for the most acts of violence in any film up to that time.
Oh, wow.
According to their calculations, 135 acts of violence occur per hour or 2.23 per minute.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Nice.
You really wouldn't... I don't know. It doesn't seem like that would...
I feel like that's been heavily surpassed.
Yeah, I mean, like now it's nothing. So this was America's first PG-13 movie.
What?
Yeah. Thing is, this movie should be rated R. Just the opening scene alone with the kid getting shot in the head.
Yeah.
Like when I saw that, I was like, whoa, I do not remember that as a kid.
Yeah, if they made this now, it would definitely be that.
Yeah.
Or had a scene like that anyway.
It's crazy. It's like this, I would assume it was been rated R, honestly. Most war movies now are. So
maybe they didn't know what PG-13 meant yet.
Yeah, they're like, right, 13 years. I mean, we're already beating them. I mean, it's the 80s. Come on, let's just let them do this.
This is America.
So John Milius rewrote the script of Red Dawn completely. Kevin Reynolds wrote Red Dawn while still a student at USC Film School. MGM optioned the script and asked Milius to direct it. He says, I brought the writer in and said, this isn't going to be easy for you to take because, you know, you're kind of full of yourself, but I'm going to take this and I'm going to make it into my movie. And you're just going to have to sit back and watch. And it may not be too pleasant, Milius told Creative Screenwriting. My advice is to take the money and and spend it on a young girl, enjoy getting laid, and write another script because this isn't going to be much fun. Milius said Reynolds' script was similar to Lord of the Flies. He says, I kept some of that, but my script was about the resistance, and my script was tinged by the time, too. We made it really outrageous, infinitely more outrageous than his vision, and to this day it holds up because people ask, what's that movie about? And I say, the movie's not about the Russians, it's about the federal government.
Okay. Not really.
Yeah, no. It's like, you don't really give us that vibe.
You don't ever see the federal government. Like,
it's like, unless it's like the Russians are supposed to be the federal government. Like, if it's supposed to have that type of, I don't know, message to it. But I was like, what?
I didn't see it. I kept waiting for like any type of like real military to show up. Like,
yeah, I mean,
ops.
And it's so hard to see them because they do show up on planes like a couple times. And it's like,
yeah, you just kind of see them.
Our plane, their plane?
We don't know.
I literally have no idea who's who in this. So Milius, the director, he had a unique way of auditioning actresses for the film.
Oh my God, no.
Yeah, well, it's okay.
Just okay.
So he asked each actress this question at the start of their audition. What would happen if you were in the wilderness and you were starving? Could you kill anybody? And he always say a bunny, not a rabbit. And he'd say, could you kill a bunny and skin it and eat it? And the girls were horrified at that suggestion and needless to say, didn't go any further. The girls who said, well, if it were life or death, got to go on and read parts of that eventually were going to play. Wow. Huh. Is it not obvious enough that
I feel like
I would be like, yeah, I'd kill every bunny I see.
Yeah, kill all. She has a bunny in her mouth.
Yeah.
Hey, let me take this out.
It's like, I didn't know you were going to ask this. I just brought it with me.
Well, you might think I'm crazy.
Yeah. So John Milius, he put Patrick Swayze in charge of the cast, essentially, since he was the leader. Because...
Well, like a babysitter?
Well, so instead of giving directions... like directing the cast, he told Patrick Swayze to go and tell him what to do. So because he's the leader of the group, so they put that into an actually in real life just for the set.
Interesting.
So because Patrick Swayze was older than most of the actors, and because he had more acting experience than them, Milius trusted Swayze to control his co-stars. Milius is a very intense director, Swayze said in the Red Dawn commentary. He's a very wonderful director, but we had to call him the general, and he called me, he says, Swayze, you're my lieutenant of the art. I'm directing these little suckers through you. He put a lot of responsibility on my shoulders, and I took it really seriously.
This is wild.
Let's see. So, but that led to Patrick Swayze and Jennifer Grey to not really get along. So not all the actors were thrilled with Milius' decision to put Swayze in charge of the cast.
Because it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Swayze told Daily Mail that he butted heads with Jennifer Grey in particular, who disliked how he ordered her around. At the end of Red Dawn, however, when we shot her character's death scene, she seemed to warm to me. He said, it's a tender scene, and I stroked her hair, and it was truly emotional. I think it endeared me to her, and it was clear she and I had chemistry together. Almost exactly 3 years later, the pair's chemistry would ignite the dance floor in Dirty Dancing.
Gross.
Yeah. Funny thing is, they also did not like each other on the set of Dirty Dancing.
That's what I heard, yeah.
I just don't think they really
I
meshed.
think this is a lie.
Well,
they didn't get along at all.
So it's...
the only reason he thought they had chemistry is because she was asleep and he was touching
and he was
her.
stroking her hair.
Or dead, maybe.
Well, it's funny because these are actually two really tough movies to do side by side together. So you have a war movie where because they had to do boot camp and, all the stuff they make actors do to be like, we're training you to be soldiers. Right. We do this every war movie. So having to do that and then also forcing Patrick Swayze to be in charge of Jennifer Grey, the director. Oof. So, that's going to make them butt heads. Then you go to Dirty Dancing, where Patrick Swayze is a great dancer. Jennifer Grey is not a dancer. So she's struggling. He knows he's getting it all right. So it's just more friction that way. And it's just like, could y'all do a normal movie together where y'all are just like hanging out and chatting a lot? Maybe y'all can become friends that way. I don't know. So Patrick Swayze got frostbite while filming this movie.
Nice.
So filming in Las Vegas, New Mexico, sometimes meant extremely cold conditions. So cold, in fact, that Swayze ended up with frostbite. He says, I got frostbite so bad in my hands and my toes that now in my hands and fingers, get the slightest bit of cold, it feels like someone shoving toothpicks under my fingernails. C. Thomas Howell had a different perspective on the cold temperatures. It's cold when you're forced to spoon Charlie Sheen, he said. That's what we were forced to do, to huddle together and pretend we liked each other.
Wow. They really did like each other.
Yeah, I don't think anybody actually liked each other at all in this movie. Are you ready to... This is probably going to be the grossest fact that we do.
Sweet.
The studio cut a love scene between Leah Thompson and Powers Booth.
Yep.
That's
really weird.
Tanner. In the Red Dawn commentary, Thompson described a beautiful love scene between her and co-star Powers Booth, who was 13 years older than her.
How old was she supposed to be?
Well, that's what I'm not sure in the movie. I'm like, well, I can't tell if they're supposed to be older than the high schoolers or if they're also in high school. I assume that they're older. I assume that they're like 18.
Yeah, that's what we have to assume.
That's what I assume. Leah Thompson says, I say, I'm going to die before having made love. Will you please make love with me? And then we said, okay, and disappeared out of frame. And they took the scene out of the movie, which was sad because it explained my character. It was not a nice scene.
Sure it was.
I mean, hey, if you think you're going to die, in your version. And you know, it's like I'm assuming she's 18.
There's
she's
lots
an
of
adult.
kids. There's lots of kids your age around, though. That would have made a lot more sense.
That's true, but those kids kind of sucked a little bit.
Yeah, they did. I mean, yeah.
Honestly, I don't know if they sucked. I don't know them.
You don't know anything about them.
I have no idea who they are.
Like Aardvark, whenever they said his name when he died,
that guy had out of all the characters, he kind of had. He probably had the second most amount of like backstory.
I know, but like I didn't know anything about him. He just like,
I know. I knew he had a dad. That's about it, which puts him pretty high on the list. But it's fine. You know, it's fine to have that sometimes in movies. I mean, it still was entertaining and like the action's great, and it's just like it gets you into that. Ooh, what would I do in this type of situation? Which is really fun. I think that's why I like this movie so much. As a kid, I was like, what would I do? It's kind of like when you watch a zombie movie. It's like, in this situation, what would I do right now?
Barricade the stairs.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things. I'm trying to see if there's anything else. Yeah, there's two more I just want to say real quick. So this is one of the coldest productions on record as temperatures drop to below 30. Well, negative 30, sorry.
Oh, negative 30.
Yeah.
Look.
Yeah.
Goddamn cold.
Especially, so that final scene of the movie where they're like hugging in the park, or on the swing set, or where, where they swing as kids. That was the coldest day of there. I was like, oh, maybe they weren't wearing makeup. Maybe they were literally just frozen over. Because I was like, golly, they look rough. So the upbeat epilogue showing partisan rock with the voiceover explaining that America eventually won the war was added at the studio's insistence. John Milius, for his part, viewed the ending as darkly ironic, suggesting that the character's struggles were ultimately reduced to a lonely monument. Which is funny because before we get to this monument, you have the very beginning, which is the Rough Riders monument. And then
just reminds me of DMX.
Yeah. And then you have the second monument later on in the film where you have like the three Cuban or Nicaraguan people going out and they're reading the rock about FDR.
Oh, yeah.
And they're kind of saying everything that's on the stone, but with more of a like, I don't know.
He says he can read it, but he just made it up.
Well, he got it all right, but he made it sound, he didn't give it that American heroism of it. It's like, oh, these people came in and killed a bunch of Native Americans and just took all their stuff. And it was a great, vicious battle, but the power won or whatever. And it's like, that was when I was like, oh, I see what they're trying to do here. They're trying to be like, oh, well, we do the same thing.
Like,
we've done the same
like
thing.
Us.
Yeah. But I was like, it just like the rest of the movie is like fighting against that at the same time. And it's just like, I don't know where it wants to be. But it's still a fun movie. Last thing. At the end of the movie, Colonel Bella says, Voy con Dios to Jed. Similarly, in Point Break, Johnny Utah says the same final words to Bodie in Point Break, 1991, the movie that you love. Patrick Swayze.
Yes.
Which one did you like more, Point Break or Red Dawn?
Point Break,
okay.
I think. It was a little bit...
This close to jumping over the desk.
A little bit more insane.
Everybody's got a character in that. Even like the side characters have characters.
I was really sad to see that Patrick Swayze didn't throw any dogs in this movie.
That's true.
Launching dogs at the Russians.
Yes. You just see him with a giant catapult. Just thousands of pinballs. Go! Then they run into battle with more dogs, and then you just see Russians with dogs all over. I'm like, oh! We never thought this would be more effective than cannons. Classic. Okay, bro, you ready to hop in it?
Yeah.
All right.
Do it.
So Red Dawn envisions an alternate history of mid-1980s America. We get a few title cards that precede the opening credits, tell of famine in the Soviet Union leading to food riots in Poland. The USSR subsequently invades Poland. Troubles in Central America include Cuba and Nicaragua, building their armies to immense unprecedented numbers and invading the nations of El Salvador and Honduras. Pissing Snake off. He's getting riled up. A communist revolution breaks out in Mexico. In Europe, political divisions in the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO, I should have said NATO, lead to the dismantling of nuclear weapons. Finally, NATO dissolves, leaving the United States with no allies or support. All that flashes on screen for like 5 seconds.
Yeah, I couldn't get through it all.
So much. I had to pause it. I was like, Jesus Christ, dude. Like, give us more than 2 seconds to read 3 sentences.
Yeah, I haven't read a book since I was 18.
It's like, dude, we're watching a movie. We didn't realize we were going to have to speed read at the very beginning. I was like, what the heck? Why so fast? So the story is set in a small Colorado mountain town called Calumet, right?
Sure.
Is that how
that sounds about right.
That's how it felt like it should be said. We get shots of the town before the attack, before an autumn school day in September, a young man named Jed, played by Patrick Swayze, is dropping his younger brother, Matt, Charlie Sheen, and their friend Aardvark off at school. They're like Matt and Aardvark, I guess they're part of the football team. They have like a big, I guess, game coming up, and they did something to someone's scoreboard or whatever. That's literally the most we get out of Matt in his character development right there. That and his dad.
They're just some pranky teens.
So while giving a lecture on Genghis Khan's tactics in conquering Asia, their history teacher notices paratroopers.
It's actually pronounced Genghis Khan.
Genghis?
Yeah, but I think the guy says Genghis.
Okay.
I think most people say Genghis.
I was going to say, as far as I know, everybody says Genghis. So the teacher notices paratroopers landing outside in the school football field, thinking they may be American soldiers who are off course. He leaves the classroom to investigate and is immediately shot and killed by one of the soldiers.
They're like, is it raining again?
Well, he comes out, I was like, hey, what the heck? All right, you need a cup of coffee? We're just learning some schooling. Do you want to come in?
Come on in, guys.
Come on. It's like, dang, what the heck happened? Y'all land in the wrong spot? It's like, why are they landing in Colorado in general? Like, where were they supposed to be landing?
They missed.
Yeah, we missed by 3 countries over. But so he's immediately shot and killed by one of them.
Yeah, he's like, pop quiz, motherfucker.
Yeah. Who then opens fire on the classroom, killing at least one student, which, like, soon as it started, and me and Natalie were watching it, and they show, like, it gets a close-up of that kid, I was like...
Yeah, with his face hanging out the window.
Yeah, I was like...
Ouch.
Dang.
This is where it all began.
It just immediately, like, hit me. I was like, wow, this played different back in the day, for sure.
They're like this is something that would never happen.
Yeah.
Ever
now
in
it's
America.
Every day. One thing I do want to talk about is the camouflage worn by the people. What the fuck is this camouflage?
It's like opposite Dalmatian camouflage.
It's like, it doesn't look like anything. Did you ever see any camouflage like that when you were in the army?
I didn't like serve with a lot of Russians or Cubans.
Well,
so
it seemed like even, so I guess I just looked up Russian Red Dawn. It is believed the pattern was modeled on what few photographs of Soviet troops had emerged from the USSR at the time. Most likely,
it makes sense.
Most likely the stair step pattern. It was so weird. I've never seen that.
It didn't, to me, it didn't really seem out of place because, it's Russia, it's cold as fuck.
Yeah. Well, because like the beginning, it's green with white, like almost cloud looking patterns.
They changed camouflage quite a bit. Like,
yeah, well,
the Russians have got great logistics.
Well, it is like 5 to 6 months this movie takes place on, and you barely know that's happening.
I know, but like in history of war with Russia, they have like the worst logistics ever. So that was interesting to see how much great equipment they had all the time.
That's true, except for their camouflage, which was terrible. They should have.
Well, I mean, but they kept changing it.
Yeah,
kept changing it.
They should have bought some like Duck Dynasty camouflage or something.
Duck Dynasty.
I don't know why. So Matt and Aardvark escape the chaos when Jed pulls up. Why has he got to be named Jed? Reminds me of what Borderlands. I think there's like somebody named Jed in Borderlands.
Probably, yeah.
And he's hilarious. But yeah, so Jed pulls up, having quickly returned. They are also joined by their friends Daryl and Robert. Robert is played by C. Thomas Howell, and a kid named Danny. I don't even remember who Danny is, dude. Like,
it doesn't matter.
I can't remember.
I don't think it matters.
They drive through town, witnessing more of the invasion. Aardvark's father is seen being chased by the invaders and tries to reach them, but is apprehended. Man. But that's kind of, so this whole scene, it kind of rules.
Yeah.
Like going through your own home, because especially like 3 minutes earlier, because all this is happening in a 3-minute span. So much happens at the very beginning, which is something I really liked about the film.
They got organized quick.
Yeah. But so you get all the shots of the town that's normal and everything at the very, very beginning. And then like you drive by all the same places, but now occupied by Russians and Cubans. And
Hell yeah.
it's really cool. It's, I don't know.
Scary.
It's scary and it's fun to watch. And it's.
Do you think when people are
Except
watching
it's
this,
sad with
they're like, I would have my gun.
No, my gun would be better, dude.
Yeah.
The thing is, it really doesn't show like how, well, I mean, they got their tanks and stuff there quick, but
Yeah.
there would be like, we'll get to more of that in the bad, the good, the bad, and the ugly, because I got more stuff about just, it fits better in that.
I wish Dan Carlin would do an episode on this movie.
Yeah, that would be actually really cool. So the group drives out of town to Robert's father's gas station on the highway. Robert's father...
Fucking gas station. This gas station has everything.
Everything you need. Yeah. Well, they only got like 4 of them in the town.
Has all the weapons.
All the weapons.
And soda.
So much tomato soup. All they got was soda.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, maybe some water, dudes.
Yeah, they didn't have water there. That's the only thing.
So Robert's father tells them to gather supplies for camping and gives them a few rifles and ammunition. They escape to the mountains but are met with a roadblock. Jed's plan is to camp out in the mountains until the conflict is over. And then, like, at the roadblock, a U.S., I guess, plane comes and, like, starts shooting at them or whatever, and they're able to get in it. And after that, the truck's not starting, so they have to pee in it.
Yeah, pee in the radiator.
And for some reason, a random kid, like, because Patrick Swayze's looking at the truck. Charlie Sheen's the one that suggests to pee in it. And they just picked some other random kid to be the one. I was like, hey, Jed, Matt, how about one of you two do it? This is your bright idea.
Just thinking of like hot, like when that radiator heats up.
Yeah.
It's just going to smell so bad.
Ugh. I guess all they got to do is just get to the mountain, though. Then they're okay. So back in town, a Cuban colonel named Bella oversees the hasty occupation of the town. American forces have moved in from all sides and are attacking relentlessly. Bella orders his Cuban and Nicaraguan troops to defense positions and orders another of his men, a Russian KGB agent, to acquire documents from the gun store identifying local citizens who possess privately owned firearms.
They took our guns.
Take our guns.
It was funny, though, whenever they... when they went to this gas station, the guy's like, wait, what's going on? And one of the kids is like, there's soldiers, and I heard them speaking Spanish. But by this time, you hadn't seen any Cubans. It was only the Russians. Mm-hmm. And that really confused me.
Yeah, it confused Natalie, too. She's like, wait, what country's invading? Because I told her it was the Russians, but I was like, wait, you kind of spent all this time with this one I guess he's Cuban, a Cuban guy. I just
think this kid is an idiot.
Yeah. It's because, like, I don't know.
So our public school system failing us again.
Well, I mean, I guess, I don't know. I don't know. So the boys arrive in the mountains and set up camp. An argument erupts between Jed and the high school class president, Daryl.
Oh, this is great. He's like, as class president,
yeah. Well, I guess me being...
I guess we should just give up.
Yeah. Well, what we do on football teams, as me as class president, we actually forfeit every game. Yeah. It's the best way to win. And we'll learn a little later that Daryl's dad is the mayor. But yeah, Daryl insists that they go back and turn themselves in. Jed's like, bitch, what?
Yeah.
So Jed orders him to leave. However, Daryl relents and stays with the group. They have it's just this whole argument, and then Matt's like, I'm your brother. I'm not going to show any emotion, but I'm with you.
Yeah, we're not allowed to show emotion.
The group also discovers that their radio has been destroyed when they were shot at, so their contact with the outside world is essentially cut off. Then we cut to Robert, Jed, and Matt. They're hunting a deer. Robert makes a kill, and they're like, hey, so this is your first kill, so you got to drink some blood because our abusive father says you have to. Yeah. That's what Native Americans do.
Okay.
Honestly, I would like to know if that's actually a true thing. I've only seen it in movies. I've never heard of actual Native Americans doing it.
You see Kevin Costner eat the heart
Yeah.
and Last of the Mohicans, but and when he did this, I thought for sure.
You mean Dances with Wolves?
Yeah, Dances
Last
with Wolves.
Mohicans is
Whatever.
Daniel Day.
Yeah.
That movie rolls. Maybe we should do that
Yeah,
next.
hell yeah. But no, like I was waiting for him to just start puking. He's like, "Oh, it's pretty good." Whoa!
Just like 5 minutes of puke coming out of his face.
Like what we do in the shadows.
Yeah.
Whenever he eats the French fry.
So, yeah, he drinks it. Jed also suggests that everyone will notice a change in Robert from then on because he drank the blood.
His face turns green.
Yeah. He really liked it. He's like, "Oh, give me another cup."
He just dives right into it, starts sucking it out of the wound.
God, it's weird. So now we cut to a few weeks later in October. Jed, Matt, and Robert slip into
Something
town.
more comfortable.
Yeah. They slipped into the deer fur and
They went
just
to a
had a night.
Victoria's Secret.
yeah. But they go into town to find out what has happened in there since they haven't been there for a few weeks. They talk to a store owner, Alicia, who tells them that the Russians know who they are and tells them that the boys are being blamed for a series of violent crimes in town. She also tells them that many people have been reprimanded to a holding camp at the town drive-in theater. Then the boys go to the camp and that evening and find that it's a communist re-education camp.
Yeah, seeing that all the Russians and everyone know who they are and are looking for they're like jailing all the like military age men. They seem pretty chill about these dudes just walking around out in the open.
I guess they just don't know what they look like yet, and so because they have
they're just
posters of
looking at
people,
them.
but
Yeah.
they're just like, who are you?
They're having a nice time.
So I guess they're just hoping that like someone in town will be like, hey, that's the people you're looking for. Can I get out of this place? So we see Jed and Matt's piece of shit father. He's a prisoner, which look, he's a prisoner of war. I feel bad about that, but
So yeah, it's a rough go.
when he says so. When they see him, he has been severely beaten, telling his sons that he was hard on them for an occurrence like this. He also implores them to avenge
Thank
him.
God this happened then, right?
Yeah.
They made all of his toxic upbringing worth it.
Yeah.
He's like, God, I can't wait to say I told you so.
See, here's the thing. It's like, okay, so was he like a militaristic father where he's like, you got to do chores, this, that, whatever, that's fine. Or is it this? Because the way it makes it seem is like, you know how I beat you your entire life? Well, it's for this reason.
Yeah.
If it's that, then screw this guy.
I think it was more like, I just made your life difficult so you would learn how to fight the Russians.
Which I guess this is, I don't know, I guess been going on for a little bit. So maybe he was just like, I got to toughen up my kids. But it's like, the way the conversation comes off is like, did he just like straight up beat his kids their
He
entire
beat
life?
the tears out of
And
them.
he's saying like, hey, you guys should actually thank me for that because I prepared you for a Russian invasion.
Yeah.
So stay. I don't know. It's pretty weird. It's a weird scene. But Harry Dean Stanton does a great job.
Patrick Swayze and Charlie Sheen are crying like crazy, or trying to.
They're trying to.
Yeah,
they got a
real
bunch of
hard.
water put in their eyes for sure. But they say, I love you. And he says, I love you too.
He's like-
and then he's like, don't cry, boys.
Yeah, don't ever cry ever.
I was at the beginning going to just use the words, avenge me.
Yes.
Though it kind of makes it kind
That
of
was
so weird.
ridiculous.
It's like, hey, dude, guess what? You got your kids caught because you're yelling, avenge me. I will say this camp looks great, though. Like, it looks, it doesn't really make sense, but it looked pretty terrifying in there because there's a car in there and, like, a guy's getting drug in there screaming no. And I'm like, what's happening to this guy? Because I don't like this. This is scary. But I was like, oh, it'd be really terrifying to be in this.
And maybe that, like, when they're not re-educating them, they can watch a movie
Yeah, it's
on
like,
the big screen.
could you put like something? Can you put Dirty Dancing on? My son's in it. But so it's the next morning. The group next goes to the ranch of their father's friend, Mr. Mason, whose property lies far enough outside of the town to go unnoticed. Mason informs the boys that a large portion of the central United States has been occupied by Soviet and Cuban forces, and they are all 40 miles behind enemy lines. Yoinks.
Yikes.
Beyond the Soviet/Cuban front lines, FA or Free America exists. They also tell Robert that his father was killed by the enemy While gathering their supplies at their father's store before fleeing to the mountains, the group also took several rifles. And then that guy starts to cry, but Robert, but he's just trying so hard. And then Jed's trying to console him, and I was like, God, you guys cannot cry in this movie. It's crazy. The Soviet authorities had Robert's father publicly executed for providing insurgents, the boys, with weapons. Mason doesn't know what happened to Robert's mother. Robert breaks down and is distressed. Jed feels obvious guilt for their deaths.
Yeah, that was kind of sad.
Yeah, it's pretty sad.
Sucks seeing all the innocent people getting shot.
Yeah. Not a good thing. So Mason tells the boys that they are not at fault and that the lesson learned from the incident, symbolizing that the U.S. government registration of privately owned firearms, should sink into them all. Before they leave, Mason gives them a radio and also asks the boys to take his teenage granddaughters with him.
Yeah. I was like, here's some property.
Yeah. It's like, hey, I got something that I need you to take care of. It's like, if I'd be like, we don't know what we're doing. Now you're going to throw this into the mix?
Yep.
You seem pretty safe up here, guy. You seem safer than the rest of them.
And they have food and
Everything.
electricity.
Yeah. And the two new people are Tony, played by Jennifer Grey, and her sister Erica, by Leah Thompson, who ride back to the camp with them on a few horses. We learn that they've been hiding out because I guess just essentially if they get caught, they're going to no good, very bad things happen to them.
Yeah. Weren't they in a hole in the floor?
Yeah,
when they found them?
This basement. It's just like, dude, they seem way safer here.
Yeah, he's like, the Russians tried to have their way with them.
Yeah, and it's like, no.
And then you're just going to get rid of them with these random people.
These random boys.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, I don't know. They seem pretty safe with you, actually.
Yeah, I guess.
Meanwhile, Daryl's father.
At least they get to get out of the basement when they go with them.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. So Daryl's father, the mayor, his name is Bates. He's been collaborating, I guess, kind of trying to appease the occupation authorities under Colonel Bella.
Yeah, he's like, I'm still going to get to be mayor, right?
Yeah, it's like, can I still be mayor?
I'll give you anything you want.
Oh, you can have my car, but can I drive it on weekends?
You want my kid?
Yeah. He offers his assistance in getting the citizens of his town to adhere to the new laws that Bella has imposed. Has been imposed. Sorry. So back in the woods, the group hears a radio announcement from the free zone that tells them the war is far from over. John has a long mustache, and the combat is at a standstill. The chair is against the wall.
That's great.
Yeah. So did y'all have that? Did you have to learn any of that in the military? Like
code words? Yeah. But that. Not this one specifically.
They would have never said John has a long mustache.
You just got to make some stuff up. But it was more, we learned to use the codes for if you're going out on patrol at night, you come back in and they're like, and the person at the gate gives this call, and then you're supposed to give their response to it. Then that's how they know you're, cool.
Cool. Okay. So the next day, the group sees a Russian patrol of 3 soldiers headed towards their position. While taking in the sights, the patrol sees the group and attempts to arrest them. Jed, Robert, and the others kill them all. Very clumsy.
Pop out of the ground?
Well, no, this is the one where they're hiding from the rocks. They're like, crap.
Yeah.
How did we get into this situation?
What were they doing in the rocks?
I guess they maybe were just hunting for food, it looked like, because they had the hunting rifle maybe, and maybe they were hunting wood.
They're just doing some recreational rock climbing.
Yeah, they're going out there to bone probably. But it's very clumsy. It's like you see how terrible they are at fighting at the very beginning. They're all just slipping and running and trying to kill them and very bad at it. Yeah. Robert later talks of his enjoyment killing all of them, though, probably because he's seeking revenge for the death of his parents. And he starts sawing off a shotgun.
Yeah. They got this guy over the line.
Yeah, it's
quick.
like, you know what? I'm all in.
Yeah, he is really getting into the spirit of this.
Yeah, he's he would have become a serial killer. If the right things happened, just the right things that happened, his father died. He drank some animal blood. It's usually like around the way that usually serial killers work, right?
Turns into deer man.
Yeah. So Jed remarks that they cannot return to town ever again because they will be hunted.
Yeah,
now they'll
sucks.
know. Especially since they seem like they killed some like decorated soldiers or whatever. It looked like they seem important. Colonel Bella orders the killing of several of the town's residents after they dig graves for the dead Soviets, just as a way of...
and like, I feel like this could have been sadder. I don't know, but it was funny when they're about to shoot him and all the people are like, fuck you.
Yeah, because they're doing the mass extinction. And so you have the Charlie Sheen's character witnesses from a distance. And then like one of the people that were killed during the mass execution was Aardvark's father. Also present is Daryl's father, who is visibly sickened. Jed later tells everyone not to cry over their family's death.
Yeah, you
Don't
idiots.
Cry. No more crying. That scene was a little silly. Because there's all this yelling, and then everybody's like crying and hugging all of a sudden, and then Patrick Swayze's getting hugged by Matt, and it's like, what the fuck? Some scenes all over the place. So
crying makes you good,
right? That seemed like that's what he was about to say. That's what his father said to them.
Yeah.
So in retaliation, the teens continue their guerrilla campaign, dubbing themselves Wolverines.
Yeah.
After the high school football team's mascot, what if they're just like the goats, like goats, or were they just
greatest of all time? That'd be terrifying.
That'd be pretty great. You just hear in the woods a bunch of it's like, wow, there's a bunch of goats out here, and then they all pop out of the ground, and start shooting.
They're all dressed as sheep.
Yeah. So they ambush Soviet and Cuban patrols, shoot up armored columns, and raid local armories to steal weapons such as AK-47 rifles, sniper rifles, ammunition, landmines, and RPG launchers, among many other weapons. This is like one of the parts where we see Tony being used as bait. Seemed to be a popular thing that they
was that the part when she pulls up at the gas station?
Yeah, on our bike.
Yeah, okay, that was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, hey, military guys, I don't think she would have done that. This might be a trap, right?
She just gotta fill it up, fill up her tank.
She just like drives by, gets off her bike, like, oh, I don't want any of your business. I'm just walking by you now with my bike that I could easily be driving.
Don't take my basket of cookies.
Yeah. It's like, I feel bad for Tony. She's always being used as bait.
The tanks also don't use gasoline.
Yeah. That makes sense. Was it diesel?
It's more like diesel.
Vegetable oil?
The United States uses this thing called JP8.
They just pee in it, right?
Yeah, it's part of it.
So a month later, Erica, while on patrol, sees a pilot land nearby by parachute. The pilot is an Air Force colonel named Andy Tanner, played by Powers Booth, who joins the team and fills them in on the events of the war currently. So the group is getting to know him. Jed questions him a lot. How'd you get shot down? It was 5-1. I got 4, and now they're best friends / lovers. He is married but doesn't know about his wife, like what happened to her. We learn that the occupying forces are made up of Cuban and Soviet commando forces who invade from both Mexico and Canada. The Soviet forces crossed into Alaska, cutting the Alaska oil pipeline. Tactical nuclear weapons were used to take out key U.S. nuclear missile and communication locations. However, by this time, the front lines of combat have mostly stabilized. Tanner tells the teens that the United States' only allies are Great Britain, who has suffered huge defeats, and about 600 million Chinese. When Daryl says that China's population is supposed to be over 1 billion, Tanner implies that they've been defeated by the Soviets as well, perhaps by mass slaughter in combat or by nuclear war.
What about Canada? Mexico?
They like, hey, pal, we're not fighting.
Sorry.
The Russians were like, don't call me pal, buddy.
Not your buddy, pal.
Not your buddy, pal.
I would love to see a Canadian just go like a Rambo, but from Canada.
Yeah.
I'm not your buddy, pal.
Dressed up in maple leaves and wears hockey masks.
Eating French fries and gravy.
Yeah. So the team invites the colonel to join their guerrilla efforts. Tanner also teaches them basic tactics for attacking larger targets. They attack an air base located near the re-education camp. This is great. This is essentially where they had the you know what I'm talking about. The drive-in is what I'm trying to say, but that word left my existence, I guess. But so, and then whenever it pops up like something on the screen, it says Wolverines like written on it. Oh, that was such a good part. Cool. This whole scene, them getting the re-education camp and taking it over was really good. Just in terms of the way it looked, seemed realistic.
Yeah, it was a really fun scene. They just fucking shit out, driving through the fence.
Yeah, it's great. And it's like, wait, how many people are there fighting? Because there's only like 5 kids here.
Yeah, they were fucking.
They're just blowing everything up. So they free prisoners and destroy a few key military targets. Tanner later notices Robert carving hash marks into the stock of the AK-47 rifle for every enemy soldier that he kills. Tanner tells the boy, all that killing's going to burn you up inside. Robert replies, yeah, but it keeps me warm.
It warms my butt.
I'm 16 and I'm the hardest person you've ever seen.
It's just drinking blood all the time now.
It's like, dude, you've had so much human blood. Like, you have to chill. All right? Dude, like, Robert, it's time to stop. You have a disease now. You got a disease from the deer immediately. Then we get this weird flower thing with Erica and Tanner. It's weird.
She's like,
and then Tanner goes and talks to, I can't remember who it was, over by a rock. And he goes up to her. He's like, she's kind of, what's wrong with her? And he's like, something happened to her. Earlier in the film, Matt says, didn't he like say up your ass or something like that weird? And like they immediately, like the 2 girls freak out. And then this one guy saying something happened to her. I'm like, oh.
Well, yeah, the grandpa, whenever he sold them to the boys, he said that the Russians tried to have their way with her or something like that.
Well, it seemed like through these 2 instances, it's like almost like they got to. That's kind of what.
Yeah, that's kind of what
the
they're
way that
alluding
she's
to.
acting a little bit. Yeah, seems like maybe that might have come out into that one scene that they cut potentially.
Yeah.
She's
been through some stuff. Man.
Yeah. Just awful.
Yeah, real bad.
Yeah. So Jed takes Tanner to meet Mr. Mason, where he tells them both that there are rumors of the Soviets dropping special forces units into the occupied zone to hunt the Wolverines. There is also talk of sending in American Special Forces troops to aid them.
It's like bears riding on balls like in the circus.
Yeah.
The Russian ones.
Let's go. It's just like, it's cocaine bear. They're just all, the Russians sent all their bears with cocaine. They're just destroying the entire everything.
That'd be terrifying. Where's Bart to save us?
Bart the bear comes out, I don't need cocaine. And then you have Anthony Hopkins coming out. And then what's his name? Oh my god.
Charles.
Charles. Oh my god. Who's the other guy in that movie? What's his name? He's Baldwin.
Yes.
Which Baldwin?
The Baldwin. One of the Baldwins.
The Baldwin.
Alec Baldwin.
Alec Baldwin. He comes out. Doesn't seem south to me, Charles. It's like, what the hell's happening in this movie? God, I can't believe it took so long to. Yeah, I'd watch it. Honestly, I do kind of want to. I need to.
Okay, bear for president.
Yeah. So Jed takes Tanner. Oh wait, I already did all this. My bad. So there is also talk of sending in American Special Forces troops to aid them. Already said that. Jed believes their only chance to survive the war is to cross the front lines and to free America. Tanner decides to show them the way out of the occupied territory. There's also those points like, we just got to flank them. What's a flank? I think it's a stake. It's like, guys, you are already taking down operations here.
They've already been pretty organized.
Y'all haven't talked about flanks yet? So they go to the front lines of combat where an M1 Abrams American tank is engaged in a fierce battle with a few Soviet T-62 tanks. Tanner tells Jed that they'll have to cross the no man's land between the tanks to reach the free zone where Soviet jets are dropping napalm. It's a pretty cool shot, though.
Yeah,
the napalm shot. Kind of say, like, anytime like someone drops napalm in a movie, It's a cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Like, what's a fire? Fire.
Pretty darn cool. So, as they prepare to move forward, another Soviet tank moves up to their position, unaware that Tanner and the team are nearby. The tank begins to fire on the American tanks, and Tanner sees an opportunity to disable the enemy. In the skirmish, Aardvark is killed, and Tanner is critically wounded by a grenade because Aardvark could not chill the fuck out, bro.
Yeah, well, he was kind of having a panic attack.
Yeah, he definitely was. He was freaking out. He's like, I can't do this. It's like you've killed so many people. Just stick it out a little longer, bro. They might have made it across enemy lines. So, before he succumbs to his injuries, we're talking about Tanner, he's able to mark the tank with a colored smoke bomb, making it visible to the American forces. They destroy the tank and Tanner along with it. Back in camp.
Yeah, they blew that shit out of him.
Yeah. Back in camp, Erica becomes deeply depressed over the loss of Tanner, having been attracted to him. A small funeral is held for Tanner and Aardvark. Their names are carved by the team into a nearby rock as memorial.
Did you? But like when Aardvark got shot and Tanner, I didn't feel anything.
I felt bad for Aardvark.
I was just like, oh shit, I killed one of them. Well, who was that?
Tanner, I was like, I don't know, dude.
He's kind of. I'm kind of. Yeah.
You got a wife. You told Erica about your wife, and then you're still like, I guess,
still
end
crushing
up
on her.
having sex with her.
Yeah, supposedly.
It's like I don't know, dude. I don't know. I liked Aardvark. It was weird. It's just
cool. I just didn't know. When he died, I was like, huh.
Yeah, I know. It would have been nice to have a little bit. Like, especially when we get to the end, it'd been like, man, if only there was some sort of connection between Matt and Jed. Meanwhile, Colonel Bella and his superior, I hope I'm saying Bella.
Colonel Bella.
And his superior, the Russian Major General Brochko.
He looks hilarious. I don't know. Something about his face and like his eyebrows. He looks like a comedian.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Before they move in, their commander, Major Strelinkov, so bad at order their forces to stop killing people and all the atrocities against the local population, saying terror tactics like those will not win the conflict for them in the long term. I like it because Colonel Bella started this where they're just killing random people. It's like typical war stuff, right?
Sure.
And then it's not working. And then another, this is when the Russian Major General Brochko comes in and is like, we're going to keep killing more local people.
Yeah.
Colonel Bill's like, I tried, guy. It didn't work, and now I'm kind of feeling bad about it, so maybe let's chill.
What are you going to do?
And the other guy's just like, nah, we're doing this. And then this guy comes in, he's like, we're no longer doing this. And Bella's like looking over at the other guy. Bitch. Told ya. So the Soviet commandos move into the mountains using a tracking device to find the Wolverines. However, the teens are waiting for them and kill most of the commandos. One is left alive and is interrogated by the group. They discover the tracking device, which reveals that Daryl is a traitor, having stolen away from the team and into the town to see his father, despite Jed's strictest orders not to go into town.
Do you think he really swallowed it, or did they shove it up his ass?
He's just I definitely think they probably forced him to swallow it, I'm assuming. Yeah. Because then he could just poop it out if he puts it in his mouth. Yeah. But he did say, it's like, they did things you never imagined to me.
Don't poop it out.
Yeah. But, like, they're all super pissed at him now. So they learn that he's been forced to swallow a tracing bug and reveal his and his friend's location in the mountains. The team makes a tough decision to execute both Daryl and the Soviet prisoner. Jed, enraged by the Soviet invasion, kills the soldier and turns his gun to Daryl but is unable to kill him. The rest wants to let Daryl go because he's one of them. Matt steps in. What's the difference? What's the difference between us and them if we do this? Which I was like, oh, okay, so we are doing like an anti-war thing for sure.
A little bit of
And then Robert steps up and very casually and coldly shoots Daryl in the head or in the chest, I guess, leaving the team horrified at his callousness in executing a friend. Yeah, that dude.
Could have just let him go.
I mean, could have
just like, hey, go, just walk the other way.
Hey, get out of here.
Get out of here, or we'll kill you.
Yeah, no, that guy's a cold-blooded killer, crazy guy.
Yeah. That's the guy whose father was the mayor, right? The class president.
Daryl.
Yeah, Daryl.
The guy that got shot, yeah. Yeah.
Turncoat.
Exactly. Like father likes.
Yeah, no.
By the March of the following year, after 5 months of fighting, the Wolverines are physically and emotionally weakened by the attacks and the other events, and their morale erodes as the war of attrition continues. Even though the American civilians are increasingly resistant to Soviet rule, the occupation forces are pushing the resistance of the Wolverines to the breaking point. So they're just finally starting to get a little
tuckered out.
Yeah, well, they're getting super exhausted, but like finally we're starting to gain momentum and fighting back like that's a country, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
A few days later, while observing a small detachment of Soviet vehicles, Jed notices that they drop a few cartons of food and calls off their attack. They scrounge what's there and take it back to the
when
camp.
Tony runs up there,
yeah,
she just starts stuffing her
She's
face.
just shoving everything in her mouth.
And then
I was like, dude, that's for everybody.
They're watching her do it. And then, like, she comes back. She's like, sorry, there was nothing there.
Yeah.
Like,
It's like, sorry, guys. It's like, Tony, we saw you. No, that was an illusion. Optical illusion.
It wasn't any good, though.
Yeah. Just like, why is Tony always like the goat or whatever, where they just like send her out? It's like, you die, you die.
She's
I don't know.
expendable.
Yeah, I guess so. He's like, I'll protect your granddaughters with my life. Every time there's a chance, they throw him out as bait.
All right, you're going to be the bait again, Tony.
Yeah. So wild. So they scrounge what's there and take it back to the camp. However, apparently the food had somehow been bugged, and their heavily armored Soviet Mi-24 Hind helicopters move in and attack the group.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those helicopters looked rad, though, dude.
Yeah, they were pretty neat.
Pretty dope helicopters.
I thought it was funny how he shot the RPG at the helicopter.
Mm-hmm.
It went perfectly in the window, killed someone apparently, but didn't explode anything
And
else.
kept flying. I saw that too. I was like, what the fuck is that? So we see Tony is shot immediately and is taken to cover by Jed. The rest of the group also scatter on their horses and try to make it to cover. However, Robert's horse is shot out from under him. He makes a final stand, damaging one Mi-24 chopper with an RPG, killing the door gunner, and firing his rifle at a second. He's killed in a hail of gunfire. Here's the thing. You shoot your RPG. You run away, boy, instead of yelling Wolverines, because you could still be alive.
Yeah.
They really could have used you the rest of this film instead of shooting RPG. Hey, there's 5 other helicopters, but yeah, Wolverines! Robert sucks.
Oh, but about the horse, if you really want to see a horse die spectacularly,
I don't.
the new Napoleon movie.
Oh, don't tell me.
Holy shit, man. It's awesome.
I like horses. I don't want to see them die.
Man.
That's all. That's something that always made me feel bad.
Well,
Except now they use fake horses as in CGI, so it's not. Doesn't make me feel as bad.
Kidding me. God damn it.
Well, I'm assuming
I really
if
wanted to see a real horse die.
You have if you watched any Western back in the day, I'm sure a lot of those horses have died.
Yes.
It always makes me feel bad when I watch a Western, and especially an older one, and they have like the horse flip and roll over. I'm like, bro.
Oh man, that's not a Napoleon's horse. Oh,
bro,
you gotta
watch it. I gotta
watch it. It's insane.
I don't remember learning about a horse going crazy in Napoleon's story.
It doesn't go crazy. It just gets
or it gets done crazy.
It gets done.
It gets done crazy.
Crazy.
Okay. So after the 3 Soviet helicopters leave the scene, Jed and the seriously wounded Tony share a final moment, and Jed leaves her a grenade because he's like, I'm not gonna. It's like, I can't kill you. I'm sorry. And she's like, can you shoot me in the head?
That's sick, dude. Like,
shoot me in the head.
Well, yeah, she's like, shoot me, but just holding the grenade.
Yeah,
that's some fucking wild shit.
It's pretty dope. And she seemed to kind of place it in a way like on her back, so if she did die, when they rolled her over, it was gonna explode.
Yeah, man. Hell yeah.
Kind of crazy.
It's kind of awesome.
Yeah. So later when the Soviet...
Pull the pin for me.
Yeah. Later when Soviet ground troops arrive and find her dead body, the grenade that had been left live under her goes off, taking at least one Russian soldier with it. Yeah.
That's fucking sweet.
I know. I would have liked to seen Patrick Swayze and Jennifer Grey's characters have like some sort of relationship.
I'd like to see any of them have any kind of a relationship at all.
Right. They've had to cut. Was this like a 2.5 hour movie that they just cut down to 2 hours?
Yeah, I think so.
Had to be. I honestly would have been fine with them taking a couple of the action scenes out and just like giving some, just spread that out a little bit more. And I don't know.
Yeah, I
Add
don't
10
know.
minutes to the movie, it'd be all right.
I'm not a director.
Jed adds Tony's and Robert's name to those already on the memorial rock. Tired and demoralized.
Draws her face like Napoleon Dynamite drew the girl's face.
Took me 3 hours on the shading. Tired and demoralized by the loss of their friends, Jed and Matt prepare a suicidal attack on the Soviet headquarters in town, which will serve as a diversion, allowing Erica and Danny to escape to free America. Matt says they can make it, but Jed knows it's coming to an end. We cut to Colonel Bella writing to his wife and starting to regret being part of war. Is that the scene where there's that stupid little line? Well, if I have it later in my notes, I'll bring it up. But there's the line where it's like, they're kind of talking because Matt's like, dude, we could go with them. We'll be fine. We've done this. We don't have to end it now by going into
they
a
could just
suicide rate.
go be free.
And there's a
I
part,
guess.
Patrick Swayze, it's hard being brothers, isn't it? And I'm like, what is this? Y'all been pretty chill with
his brother.
Y'all seem to actually be pretty chill as brothers. I've seen really no issues with you guys.
Hulk Hogan shows up.
Hey, brother. Jed, you need to eat your vitamins. Say your prayers, brother. But like it seemed like, okay, why leave that line in there if you're just gonna cut out?
Hulk Hogan would have been great in this movie.
He would have been great.
Okay.
It's like whenever because you think you got Hulk Hogan down, and then you shoot
off the top rope,
and then you hit him in your head, and the next thing you know, he pops his head up, and he's like, "Oh no, brother!" And then you keep hitting him, and he's just taking it, and he starts beating. And then once he drops his leg drop on him, you know who's coming off the top rope with an elbow? Macho Man Randy Savage, baby. Oh yeah!
Elbow drops a helicopter.
You Russians are going nowhere. America's the cream of the crop. We rise from the bottom to the top. Okay, so we have to continue.
Oh my God, I'm crying.
So where were we? So during the climactic final battle, many Soviet, Cuban, and enemy soldiers and officers are killed during the fighting. Jed and Matt kill one of the Brachkinko and blow up his communications trailer RPGs. While trying to escape on a nearby train, Matt is shot by the pursuing Strelinkov. Jed sneaks up on him, and the two shoot each other simultaneously at close range. So Strelinkov is killed and Jed is wounded in his side. Colonel Bella sees Jed holding his brother but does not shoot them and let them pass because he's like, go. Because he's putting in his resignation. He's like, yeah boy, done.
Yeah.
Jed takes his fatally wounded brother to a bench in the town's empty snowy park square and cradles him as he dies in front of the swing set that they swung
that
in
their
as
dad
kids.
never took him to.
Yes. Well, no, that's the one thing he did do.
Once, yeah.
He was like, you remember that one time we had a good time together? You should go there and die after this. I will say the first time I watched this, I was like, whoa, this is an iconic scene.
Yeah, it was pretty deep.
The shot's great. I just wish they had some story to go along with some of this,
Or
some character development to really make me feel bad.
Like
I felt bad, but
bully comes over and pushes him off the swing. Now, I thought it was funny, or not funny, but it was great when Colonel Bella lets him go because he was talking about being on that side of the war in Cuba.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of cool.
Yeah. No, I think it's great. And like the whole movie should have probably been Colonel Bella's movie at this point because we kind of know more about him than anybody else in this entire movie.
The sequel of this is Patrick Swayze goes to Cuba to get revenge.
And then we're on call.
He takes over Cuba.
It's made by the Cubans, so it's like, oh, okay. They're doing their own version of Red Dawn. And for some reason...
It's just a bunch of Patrick Swayze.
Yeah, it's like, why did Patrick Swayze agree to do this? So the film closes with Erica and Danny being the only two survivors of the original team.
This is a bad ending.
Yeah.
Because they come over the hill and they're just like, we made it. And it's just like some trees.
Yeah. Well, it's like a tree and like a couple little buildings.
They're like, we made it.
It's like, why weren't the Russians attacking this team?
Yeah.
Well, it seems like all this was added on. It seemed like it was supposed to, it felt better ending with Matt and Jed.
Yeah.
I don't remember this part like watching it as a kid, when this happened, I was like, it didn't end. What else is going to end?
I thought for sure this is when the special ops comes in and saves the day, or like saves the town, kills all the Russians. That would have been super sweet.
We just kind of learned that. So they made their way to the Great Plains to free America. Erica narrates the final scene of the film, saying that the war ended. The war ended a little later. She adds that she often visits a memorial to their friends called Partisan Rock, but no one else ever visits. The memorial has an inscription that invokes the words of Abraham Lincoln's Gettysburg Address. The memorial, its inscription, and presence of an American flag indicate America eventually won the war. The plaque reads, in the early days of World War III, guerrillas, mostly children, placed the names of their lost upon this rock. They fought here alone and gave up their lives so that this nation should not perish from the earth.
And they definitely didn't bang each other.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the end of the film.
Weird way to end the movie, though. That's that line.
Yeah.
I don't know. I felt like they could have just wrapped up things a little tighter with a nice little bow.
Mm-hmm.
Would have been better, but whatever.
I would have preferred it just been the dark ending of Matt and Jed.
Yeah,
and then
he just dies,
and then just maybe like a
Bella's just nodding,
or even just do like some like lines at the very end saying like, "Oh, the war eventually ended. America succeeded." And
surprise, they're all vampires.
or just like whenever it just like cut to the plaque only afterwards.
Oh yeah.
Like I think that would have just been a better ending, and maybe add like a couple extra lines saying that America won or whatever.
Oh, this would have been a great time for zombies.
Yeah, yeah.
When they thought it was over.
Okay, so next we're gonna head to our categories. The first category is the good, the bad, the ugly. It's where we go through each section and we talk about the good of a film, something that we liked, the bad of the film, something we didn't like. The ugly is something that we don't think aged well, and the fine is something we think aged well. What's your good, bro?
That they showed all the beautiful, the countryside, like the shots of like the mountains and the fields. Like I thought they were just gorgeous.
Yeah, great cinematography.
Yeah,
it was great. Great use of America.
Yeah, America's the star of this movie.
For me, the good was just the idea to make a movie about invading
kids, killing adults.
What would it be like if a country had the idea to come and invade us? I mean, it would take like 5 billion different things to happen.
Bad idea, though.
Yeah,
don't do it other countries.
Yeah.
We got kids here. With guns.
We also probably have more guns than your military.
All our kids have guns too.
That's the thing. So when we're almost there.
That sucks.
What do you find?
It's our greatest strength and our greatest weakness.
Yeah. So the bad, what do you got for the bad? Mine was acting.
Yeah, that's a bad one.
Acting and lack of character development.
That, and I was, I realized it's 1984, and I know like special effects weren't like super great back then, but it was still fun.
Yeah. I think the effects look pretty good.
I mean, yeah, they were all right. I just was hoping for more.
Because I was watching, especially on TV, because watching it, like everything looked, there's really no CGI or anything.
Right. Which is
but like,
pretty cool.
I was just watching something with CGI last night and it just looked terrible. I was like, dude. So when I put Red Dawn on this morning, which was the first thing I watched since after the last movie, I put it on, I was like, movies. This is how God intended it to look.
So maybe they weren't even that bad. I just, I don't know. I was just trying to think of something else.
No, you're good.
Something other than the acting.
Yeah, I should have yes and instead of no but.
No buts.
So what do you got for the ugly? Ours are probably the exact same.
I mean, the kids,
school shooting and
kids in school, maybe.
Erica and Tanner's weird relationship that
was
didn't go anywhere in the film, and also was just like, what?
It definitely made it weirder once you told me about the deleted scene.
Yeah, which honestly, like if they just if they fleshed out some of these characters, maybe it'd been something we'd be like, you go, girl.
Well,
get you some.
I mean, and girls have crushes on older guys all the time at that age.
We don't. I mean,
They don't usually get together.
we don't know how old she is. We don't know anything. And it's just like, what? Is
Yeah.
this just like some weird like
Please.
director's fantasy of what he
Tell
wanted?
us.
Like, you know,
Movie.
it would have
tell
just been
us.
nice to know a little bit about him
would
before
have
it happened.
Yeah.
So for the fine, what do you got? What aged well in your head?
Democracy.
Yeah. I put like war movies and of course my boy Patty Swayze. Ugh, love that actor. And you know what? Nothing's ever really came out bad about him or anything. So we still got him.
Except cancer. You know, he died from like a terrible
Well,
cancer.
yeah, but he can't control that.
No, I mean, he could have danced it out, I think. I feel, anyway.
He might have been able to, actually. He might have been able to. He might not have tried.
He's got the moves to do it. He just, man, didn't have a chance.
Just have a chance. R.I.P. though. One of our best actors. He didn't even do that much, honestly.
No, but he was good.
But everything that he did was amazing.
I didn't really care for Ghost.
Well, we all got bad opinions, man. All right, we're going to move to our next category, which is double feature. And it's where we pick a movie that goes well with the movie Red Dawn. I struggled a little bit with this one, but I ended up picking another 1980s film, Escape from New York. I don't know.
I haven't seen that one either.
It's just like you got the 80s to it. It's kind of silly. There's not a lot of character development, but it rules. It's way better than Red Dawn. So, but I don't know. It's John Carpenter. He did it.
Cool.
We'll have to do it
I've
at
heard
some
it was
point
good.
this year.
Yeah.
I would say we could do it next week, but I don't know. I don't know. I still haven't decided yet.
Mine was not a movie. It was the show A-Team.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
With Mr. T.
That does work. Equally silly.
They always love it when a plan comes together.
Yeah. You know, I've never seen that show. I think I saw the movie.
It's such a ridiculous show.
Yeah.
It used to come on.
No, I did see a couple episodes. Yeah.
There was this block of time when I was in college where it would, like, A-Team would come on, and then Highlander, and then like some other like crazy shit. I don't know. It was the best part of my day. I loved it.
All right, that's the end. That finishes off this film. Join us next week as we finally cover Step Brothers. I've only talked about it on like half of the episodes we've done. One of my favorite comedies. One of them. There's so many favorite comedies.
So many goof 'em ups.
Yeah, it's great. So yeah, join us next week for Step Brothers. And if you'd like to leave us an email or something, please do. We have a mailbag. It's called werecommendmailbag@gmail.com. Send us something, and if we get anything, we'll read it on the podcast. We don't have to say your name, or if you want us to, whatever. Also, if you want to follow us on social medias, head over to our link tree at linktree/werecommendmovies. It's the easiest way to follow us on social medias, or find other ways to listen to us. And is that all the crap I usually say? I think it is, right?
Thanks to Joey Prosser for
Thank you, Joey Prosser, for our
music.
intro and outro theme song. And this has been the We Recommend podcast. I'm Jesse.
I'm Jason.
Wolverines, baby.
Avenge me.
Live the Wolverines. Bye.
Bye.